Hey everyone, welcome to another Envato Tuts Plus tutorial. My name is Adi, and in today's video I'll show you two ways of displaying posts and ACF fields in WordPress. For those of you who don't know, ACF is a WordPress plugin that allows you to add custom fields. And the reason we need a plugin like this is that even though WordPress does support custom fields by default, they are pretty limited. So this plugin takes the functionality to the next level, giving us a high degree of customization. Now, here's the thing. If you're not code savvy and you want to display custom fields on the front end, so on the actual website, you might find it a bit difficult because you need to write some PHP code to grab those fields from the database. That's why in this video, I'll show you two ways you can do that. First with code, and second with an awesome plugin called ACF Views, which is actually the sponsor of today's video. ACF Views is a WordPress plugin which works on top of advanced custom fields. It allows you to display posts and ACF fields anywhere on your site using shortcodes. This means you'll no longer need to write any PHP code to query posts or get field values and display them. ACF Fields is free to download and use, or costs $25 per year for the Pro version if you want to unlock extra features like advanced filtering, Ajax pagination, custom Gutenberg blocks, and more. And if you use the promo code Envato, you get 20% discount for the Pro version. Again, promo code Envato, 20% off. So follow the link in the video description for more information, and stay tuned because in this video, I'll show you exactly how ACF views can work for your WordPress website. Before we get to work with ACF fields, there are two basic notions you need to understand. The WordPress post meta and custom post types. So let's see what these are and what role they're playing when it comes to custom fields. Now, if you've worked with WordPress before, then you know there are certain types of data you can enter yourself or create yourself, like posts, images, or any kind of media, pages, users, and so on. And here's the thing. WordPress actually houses all of this information in a single table, and that table is called WP Posts. So even if the information we're entering is a post or a page or an attachment or even a WooCommerce product, everything will be placed inside the WP Posts table in the database. So let me actually show you that table. And I'm using a local installation of WordPress here, but the database, the table is exactly the same. So if we open up WP Posts and we go to select data, here you can find all the content that I have currently entered in my WordPress installation. So I have a post here called Hello World, and we can actually find it right here. It's the first one. You can see we have post title, and this has a post ID of 1. But also I have a couple of pages, or actually just one page called sample page. And we can also find that right here, right, with the post ID of 2. So this is a post, this is a page, but they're both saved inside the WP Posts table in the database. And you'll see that if we scroll all the way to the end here, you'll see that each entry in this table has a different post type. My original post has a post type of post. My page has a post type of page. And you can see there are a couple of more post types here. Now, each post in this table has the exact same structure, right? It has an ID, it has a post author, date, content, title, excerpt, post type, right? The one that you saw here. And that's non-negotiable, basically. every single entry has the exact structure defined by the structure of this table. So we cannot add different characteristics to the posts in this table, right? I cannot add another column here and name it however I want. That's simply not possible. And this is where post meta comes in. And post meta is saved in a separate database called WP post meta. And if we take a look at the data here, you can see that the structure of this table is very simple. We have a meta ID, a post ID, a meta key, and a meta value. And the way this works is super simple. Each entry in this table has a key and a value, and I can associate this pair to any post ID. So for example, for my Hello World post, which has a post ID of 1, I have this post meta associated. For my sample page, which has a post ID of 2, I have 2 entries here. I have the page subtitle and the page subtitle with an underscore. And don't worry about what these mean just yet. But basically, these are distinct characteristics of that post or page or whatever it is. So whenever I need to add a special characteristic to a post or a page or an attachment or whatever it is, I don't do it in the WP post table. I do it in the post meta table, right? I just need to make sure to reference the correct post ID. So if I want to add a meta key and a meta value for my Hello World post, which has a post ID of 1, I just create a new entry, I select the post ID of 1, and I enter my information. But obviously, you won't be doing this manually in the database. You would be doing it from the WordPress back end. I'm only showing you these tables in the main database just so you can understand what's happening behind the scenes. Okay, so that's basically post meta. Now, I also mentioned custom post types. So what are those exactly? Well, if we go back to WP posts and we go on the data and we scroll right here where it says post type, you'll see that every entry in this table has a post type. We can have page, post, ACF field, revision, smartphones, attachments, even if you have like images added to your WordPress installation, right? These are all post types. But the one that you see here, smartphones, is actually one that I created myself. And if we open up the theme that I'm using, which is Astra, just for this demo, and we go to functions.php, yeah, you'll see that I am registering a custom post type here called smartphones. And custom post types, if done correctly, will actually allow you to see those posts separately in your WordPress backend. So I have a separate entry here in the menu called smartphones, and I have a list of posts that use this custom post type. And I also have categories for them: budget, high-end, mid-field. And I can also add, remove, edit, just like I would any other post in my WordPress installation. And this is super useful. For example, if you're building a website for someone that wants to sell smartphones, or they want to display like a catalog of smartphones they have on sale, having a separate category here in the menu makes it so much easier for them. But also, this ties in really well with ACF, right? ACF stands for Advanced Custom Fields. It's an awesome plugin. So if we go to custom fields, I have a group here called smartphone options. And you'll see that this field group is only shown if the post type is equal to smartphone. Okay, so if I go to smartphones and I open one of them, you'll see that I have some custom fields right here at the bottom, manufacturer and price, that I can edit and use, of course, to display custom information like the brand and the price of the phone. And of course, these are or have different values for each post. And if I go to a regular post like Hello World, you'll see that those fields are not present. I cannot change them because this entry is just a regular post. It's not a smartphone. Now, speaking of smartphones, let me actually show you how the post meta ties into all of this. So if we open up this one, it's the Huawei Nova. This has a post ID of 40. And if we go to the WP post meta table and we sort by post ID, you'll see that where it says post ID 40, we have custom fields, right? We have the manufacturer as the key and Huawei as the meta value and also the price. So in this instance, the post meta table is used to display or to store the custom fields for these posts, right? So that's a really quick look at how WordPress stores post information, also post meta, and we also saw how to create custom post types and also how to use them in conjunction with ACF or the custom fields in WordPress. All right, so now that you hopefully understand how post meta and custom post types work in WordPress, let's see how we can display the ACF fields or the custom fields we saw earlier to the front end. And as I was saying, I'm going to show you two ways for that, one with code and the second with a plugin. Let's start with code. So if we take a look at the custom fields, I have a group here called page extras. And this custom field is only visible if the post type is equal to page. Yeah. So if I go to my pages and I open my sample page, you'll see the custom field group here, page extras, and the custom field itself, page subtitle. So let's say this is a demo subtitle. Okay, this is the value of the custom field, and I'm going to hit update. Now, if I'm going to open my page, I don't see that text anywhere. So how do I add it to the front end? How do we display that custom field value on the actual website? Well, with code, we need to do something like this. We'll go to page PHP, and this is the template that WordPress uses to display this content. And right here, I can do something like this. I can say PHP, the field, and then I'm going to say page subtitle, which is the name of my custom field. And I'm going to close the PHP tag. So I'm going to save this, refresh, and actually little typo here. It's like this, refresh. And now I can see the subtitle right here. And surely enough, if I change it and refresh, that's going to be displayed on the front end as well. So that's a really simple demo. But what about those smartphones? Because if I go to the smartphone list, let's open this Huawei Nova. Here you can see that I have two custom fields, the manufacturer and the price. So if we hit update and if we open this page, we can just see the title and the content that's defined basically here. How do we display these two? Well, this one will actually use the single smartphones PHP template. So let's go ahead and modify this. Right before the loop, I'm going to say something like this, H3 characteristics. And then let's do a list and then a list item. And we're going to say brand. And then inside, we're going to say PHP, and I'm going to say the field manufacturer. And then let's go ahead and copy this, and let's list the price. And I'm going to add a $sign in front, and I'm going to change this to price, save. And now when we refresh, you'll see that the characteristics are now shown right here. And of course, I can cycle through these, and WordPress will display those custom fields right where I set them in the template. So it's totally possible to display those custom fields using code, but you need to know exactly how to write the code. You need to know where to put it. And if you're just getting started with WordPress, this can be a little difficult. Instead, what you can do is you can install a plugin that's going to allow you to get access to those ACF fields and display them wherever you want on your page. So that plugin is called ACF Views. It's this one right here. And of course, it relies on you having installed ACF in the first place. So you need some custom fields before working with ACF Views. And this is created by WP Lake. I'll tell you more about this in just a little bit. But with both of these plugins installed and activated, you can go to ACF Views, and here you can see that I have two views created. The first one is called Page Extras, and Page Extras works the following way. By the way, you can call this whatever you want, but what's important is that you select the correct custom field group, the one that you defined here. In my case, it's Page Extras. And from there, you need to select the custom field that you want to display. In my case, it's Page Subtitle, which is a text. You can give this an optional label if you want. And then you can hit Create or Update. And this works by using shortcodes. So you can actually copy this shortcode, and you can then go to any page. Let's open up our sample page here, and let's go and insert a shortcode here in Gutenberg, and I'm going to hit Update. So now if we view this page, you'll see that we have the custom field displayed right here. And of course, this being Gutenberg, you can go ahead and move this wherever you want. If you have a custom template here, you can choose where to display it. Let's say we want to display this right at the top. So if I hit Update and I refresh, now that's going to be displayed right here. And we did that without writing a single line of code. This page still displays my initial custom field because that's still hard-coded in my theme right here. But I can very easily comment this, and if we do a refresh, that's gone. So only this one will be displayed. Now, this view actually uses this markup, right? So it creates a div, and then it uses a couple of variables to display the value of that custom field. And you can also create a custom markup, which I'll show you in just a little bit. So that was a simple example, right, for the page extras. Let's have a look at this next view. That's for the smartphone custom fields. If you remember, when we defined the custom fields here in ACF, we have a group called Smartphone Options, which has the manufacturer and price. So if we go to the ACF views and we open this second view that I created, again, we are referencing the Smartphone Options ACF group, and we're getting the manufacturer. We're also setting a label here, and we're also setting the price. On top of that, we're also getting the post title. And you can do that really easily in an ACF view by selecting post here. And you have a bunch of options for the actual field. And this works exactly the same way. You have a shortcode that's being generated for you automatically, and you can just copy that to the clipboard. And then you can go to smartphones. Let's open up this Nova, and it's exactly the same. Insert a shortcode, paste that here, update, and now when we refresh the page here, you'll see that we now have that custom information, those custom fields displayed right where we wanted them. And again, if you have a template, you'll probably be displaying these fields somewhere else. But we did that without needing to write a single line of code. Now, if you don't like the way this is displayed, you can actually use a custom markup, right? So if we go back to ACF Views, you'll see that under markup, this is the default that's being generated for you automatically. And I've actually added my own custom markup here. So if I'm going to delete this and hit update, the default markup looks something like this. It's just one element displayed after another. I wanted to use a list element. So instead, under custom markup, I created this. Just be careful when doing this. You need to display these variables like so, because otherwise you will not have access to the actual custom field. So just add these comments with the variable name inside, and then follow it up with your markup. So now when we hit update and we go back to that Nova phone, we can see the new markup taking place. Now, what's really cool about the ACF View plugin is that it also supports Gutenberg blocks. So I can turn this smartphone custom field view into a Gutenberg block. All I got to do is check out this box right here, hit update. And now when I go to edit my page, let's go here and here. And when I click this plus sign and I search for smartphone custom fields, I now have a Gutenberg block, which I can edit right here in the sidebar. So I can say manufacturer, I can say something else entirely. The values that you set on the actual Gutenberg block are different from the initial ones you set here. And obviously that makes sense because this is a Gutenberg block. It's meant to be reused. So you can bypass this functionality altogether and simply use the Gutenberg block to define the manufacturer, let's say test, and price 111. Okay, so when I hit update and I view this page, you'll see that I now have the exact same markup, the exact same structure for this content, but with the new values. So this is great. I can, take this block, I can put it somewhere else. I can basically reuse it across my document. Now, the Gutenberg block functionality is actually part of ACF Views Pro. There is a Pro version to this plugin. I do have it installed. And you can get the Pro version by going to wplake.org/acfviews and then get Pro. And by the way, this is the official website for the plugin. They also have a YouTube channel and documentation for the plugin, and you'll find links to that in the video description. But you can get the Pro version from here, and if you use the promo code Envato, you will get 20% off the Pro version. So remember that, Envato, promo code 20% off. Right, and that's how you can use ACF Views to display custom fields without writing a single line of code. Now let's turn our attention to displaying posts and even custom post types. So far, we've looked at how to display ACF fields, right, by using code and the ACF Views plugin. But the ACF Views plugin can also be successfully used for querying and displaying posts based on different criteria like meta filters and taxonomy. So let me show you a few examples. First, let's start with the code demo. I have an archive for the smartphone's custom post type, right? And in this archive, I'm basically using WP Query to get a bunch of posts from the database based on these arguments. And here I'm using meta filters. I'm filtering using the price custom field, and I'm only displaying the posts that have the price less than 1700. All right, so I'm defining the arguments. I'm creating my query using WP Query, and then I'm getting the posts. And for each post, I'm basically displaying the title, description, manufacturer, and price. So now, if I go to my WordPress installation here, and let me close out a couple of these tabs. And if I go to smartphones, which takes me to the archive, you can see that this displays every smartphone that fits this meta filter, right? So price is lower than 1700, but I can also make the price lower than 700. Okay, so that's just going to display a handful of my posts that have the custom post type of smartphones. It's this one, and this one. So to get something like this, you would have to write all of this code by hand, which, you know, if you're a WordPress developer, it's no problem whatsoever. But if you're just getting started and if you're not familiar with how WordPress works, the hierarchy and all of that stuff, then this could be problematic for you. All right, now let's say we want to do all of this using the plugin. Well, there are a few ways we can do that. First of all, if we take a look in smartphones and under categories, we have a taxonomy defined here. So we basically have categories for smartphones. We have budget, high-end, midfield, and so on. And each one of these has a category assigned to it. So if, for example, I were to display just the midfield smartphones, I would do it the following way. I would go to ACF Views and then ACF Cards. And I'm going to create a card, and I'm going to name this mid-range. I'm going to select the ACF View Smartphone Custom Fields, and then Filters. I'm going to filter this to only show smartphones post type. And then we go to Taxonomy. We add a rule. We add a taxonomy. Categories will be equal to, and we select midfield or mid-range or whatever it is that you defined. So now we publish this ACF card, we copy the shortcode, and then we go to our pages. We can create a new page. Let's call this mid-range smartphones. And here we can simply paste in that shortcode, publish the page, and when we open the page, that's going to display only the mid-range smartphones. The plugin uses this taxonomy to filter those posts and display them on the page. And at any point, I can go back to the card, I can edit the card, and I can change the taxonomy to something else. Maybe I want to display the budget phones. All right, so now it's going to display just the budget phones. So that's how you can use taxonomies. What if you want to display these phones by price or actually by manufacturer, right? Let's say we just want to display the Apple phones. Well, I can add a new page. and I can say Apple smartphones, and we'll come back to this in just a little bit. We can go back to ACF cards. We can create a new one. We'll select the correct view, and we'll go to filters. Again, we'll just display smartphones. And then under meta filters, I can add a rule, and I can select the manufacturer to be equal to Apple. Okay, make sure the correct group, ACF group, is selected here. So we'll publish that, we'll copy the shortcode, and we'll paste that in, and we'll publish the page. And now when we open the page, it just shows me the Apple smartphones. And that's how you can use the meta filters in ACF views to display a list of posts based on different criteria. Now, something else you can do with the plugin is pagination. And for that, let me actually open the mid-range card that was using the taxonomy filters. Let's select the midfield phones. Let's update. Okay, so now we have 4 phones here, but let's say I want to display just 2 of them and then have some sort of pagination. Using code, it's a lot of work to make this happen, but with the plugin, you can go to pagination, you can enable it, you can decide how many posts you want per page, and you can update. So now, if I refresh, I'm just displaying 2 posts with a load more button that shows me the other 2. All right, and those are 2 ways of displaying posts and their ACF fields in WordPress. I showed you how to do it in code and also how to do it with the awesome ACF Views plugin. Remember, if you want to purchase the pro version of the plugin, use code Envato for 20% off. So I hope you found this video useful. Remember to also check out the Envato Tuts Plus YouTube channel for more content like this, but also to learn about web design, web development, and a lot more. And don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. I'm Adi. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.